Sup YouTubers, your girl Survivor here, and I'm gonna life vlog. We're gonna focus on Lulu. She snores. I don't know if you can hear her, but so I recently had seen a video about me, and it was one of the first things that I heard was that I've had a hard life. But I feel like one of my videos was about how some of my best times of life was when, we were like almost in poverty, like in a, because it wasn't hard for me to turn a new pair of socks into $1 million. Like, that wasn't a hard life for me. Sometimes I think people with money would have a harder life. I mean, yeah, with the physical things, bills and the outside things would be, would look good, like looking good on paper. But then inside, they may feel like everybody wants them for their money, or what if they did go through a time when there was no money? Is the, just do things lose their lack of excitement? I mean, are they always keeping up with the Joneses? Do they take on more bills than they can afford, really, just to keep the appearance up? That would be a hard life, I think. This isn't, my made-up stories of my life. I mean, because they're certainly not, that interesting. I'm not saying I've, lived in Paris and penthouses and, I know, it's just, I'm grateful for, a good book, a good story. If I read a good story or some beautiful words or a beautiful comment, if I just, like, say a really, really rich person, right? What does it take to make them happy? Like, they probably need a real $1 million to feel like they've got $1 million. So, if it's as simple as a new pair of socks, then I don't think I've had a hard life. And, that initially kind of said, well, that person isn't hearing what I'm saying. They're just looking on the outside of, maybe whatever I've said. I just don't know why they would think I've had a hard life. Like, I mean, yeah, I've said things, about my mother's parenting skills, but let me just tell you a few things about my mom. My mom could tell a bedtime story like it was out of her head, and she would continue it every night. Like, she, every night, and she would elaborate on it, and then the two main characters would make friends, and they'd go here, and they'd go there, and everywhere. And in fact, oh, God, Tucker, really? In fact, she would tell me a story about Naughty. And he was like a broken toy, and he had a convertible, he had a wife, and then they had twins. Now, this is before, but I had lived in England when I was a baby. This is crazy. I'm sorry. When I was a baby, but when I was, when I went back there, when I was, anyway, prior to that, when we lived, like, we had, the woods were our backyard, right? It was a forest park. It's screwing me up here. Well, my mother, with the naughty land stories and everything. But when we moved to England, there was a real naughty. Not a real naughty, but he was a character from English stories. And I didn't know that. And she would tell me stories about Rupert Bear. And, and she must have been, like, recollecting, and I'm sure some of it she had to, come up with herself, because every night, I looked forward to going to bed, because, I would be like, okay, let's get to the next, what happened next? All day long, I'd be dying to hear about the next segment. And, I remember when I first saw Rupert Bear when we went to England, man, I was blown away. My mother used to sing me a song, and for years, I thought she made it up for me, because the words were, supposed to be applicable to me. I'm not going to sing it, but turned out, until I had my daughter and watched the movie Snow White, it's from Snow White, not the words, but it's sung to, it's sung to one of the songs in there that the dwarves are singing. I think it's that dig, 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 that one. That one. And when my daughter's white, and I first heard that song, and we're talking, almost 30 years of me thinking my mother had made that song up. But not with those words. The words were specifically for me that she had put into the song. But I was just blown away that my mother, she had, like, I guess, a memory like me, where, and then suddenly here's, this Rupert Bear with his scarf on and everything, and he didn't look any different from what I imagined him to look like. Neither did Naughty. When I went to England and saw they were actual real characters, my mother had brought them to life that much for me. So she had good qualities, too, that I keep those ones. I keep the bad ones because they've made me a better parent. Maybe without like I said, you have to remember, my mother came from the time when they were bombing England. That's what she grew up in. She didn't leave England until she was like 18, 19 years old. Or maybe late, I don't know. But you have to remember that that's what my mother grew up in. Going into the bomb shelters and everything. And she'd tell me, they'd be like, they were excited, when there was, because she lived near Burton Wood Air Force Base in England. And they'd bring, like, candy and stuff, and so the little kids would run up to them all and be, you got any gum, chum? You got any gum, chum? And she'd tell stories about going to dances, and they used to, nylons weren't, like, a thing, so they would put this, like, makeup stuff on their legs, but if it rained, it would make it streak down their legs, and England rained a lot. So, anyway, you know me, I'm just talking. Another thing my mom would do is, my mother could, those people who stand inside, like, a department store windows and be mannequins. My mother could do that, okay? Not that she did it for a job or anything. But she could go the longest time I've ever seen anybody without blinking. And she could raise one eyebrow. But it was really fucked up that she could go so long without blinking. So me and my sisters, like, I was the youngest, and I was youngest by a lot. But they were like, I'd say around then, Anna was probably 11, and my sister was probably 13. No, she had to be a little more than 13. She had to be about 16, 17. Whatever the case may be. We'd want my mother to do the mannequin. But she, we'd be like sitting on the bed, and we'd go, oh, do the mannequin, or she'd just come in and do it. And at first, we'd be laughing and stuff. And then when it would go on, and we're like begging her, Mom, please blink. Like we're literally like cowering on the bed, thinking, she'd move. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. And she could just raise that one eyebrow, without blinking. But then she would blink. But like one of those fucked up robot blinks. Oh my God. It was the weirdest shit. We really would think she had gotten like possessed by something. And then, finally she'd stop when we could not breathe anymore. And we were like crying. And then if it rained, my mother and I would go for a walk through Forest Park every night after dinner. Every night. I have a lot of fond memories of those walks. I remember, if it rained, that was one of the favorite times because, and these are thick, pretty deep woods, we're right behind our house, and so if it rained, I would put my, my jacket on with my hood, and I don't know if you remember those bubble umbrellas. They were like clear, shaped kind of like, bubble and clear plastic, and they would have like a colored rim around the bottom, colored trim. Well, my mother would be the bubble monster. Fun at first. Like I was dying to get out there and do the bubble monster, Mom. Do the bubble monster, Mom. So once again, we're out in the rain, in the woods. It's daytime. But so she would do that, where she's not blinking really, and she's got the bubble umbrella, and she would like move it up and down, and she'd go bump, 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 and just, come and get me, and I'd like hide behind trees, bump, bump, and she'd move pretty slow, but like those horror movies where the murderer is moving slow, but it just seems like they're always catching up to you because you're always falling down because of the fear of trying to get away. And I'd be like falling down, and I'd have sticks and leaves all stuck to me. And she just wouldn't break her roll. She was like, bump, 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 bump. I'm like, half leg over a log. Mom! Mom! She's just getting closer. Bump, 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 bump. I'm yelling to help to the same person who's scaring the crap out of me. My stomach just grumbled. Anyway, I don't want my video to get too long. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I'm just rambling. I know I'm going to make a few more tonight because I'm not done. LOL. Peace, love, and tacos. I hope you enjoy these. Thanks.